What's going on, everybody? It's Raymond and Scar here with another episode of the Brew Sportscast. Welcome back, y'all. It's week 9 of the NFL season. As you can tell, we have I wouldn't say special guest, but a guest on this weekend.
A special ed guest.
A special ed guest. For the rest of the football season, we're going to do our pick'ems. We're going to have either a guest on or a guest do our pick'ems with us to see how well the guests do, like they do on College Game Day.
Yeah.
So, Brandon, that's Brandon, everybody.
This is my cousin.
Yeah.
I'm the pretty one.
Yeah. I guess you can just hang out while we review last week's pick'ems until we do this week's.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay.
Proceed.
All right, Chris, go ahead.
All right, so last week, going through them. So the first game was Tampa Bay at Buffalo. I picked Buffalo. I'm sure you picked Buffalo too.
Yeah.
So we both got that right. New England at Miami. I'm pretty sure we both went with Miami, of course.
Yep.
We both got that right. Jacksonville at Pittsburgh. We both went with Jacksonville, of course.
He just left. Okay, keep going. There he is.
So we both got Jacksonville right. Atlanta at Tennessee. I picked Tennessee. Who'd you pick?
Tennessee.
Yep, we both got that right. Houston at Carolina. This is the one I picked, the upset. I picked Carolina.
And you were right. I had Houston.
Yep, so I got that one right. Rams at Dallas. I'm pretty sure we both picked Dallas. Both got that. Minnesota at Green Bay. I picked Minnesota. I'm sure you picked them too.
Yeah.
Both got that right. New Orleans at Indy. I think you picked Indy.
I had Indy.
I picked New Orleans and got that one right. Cleveland at Seattle. I think we both picked Seattle.
Yep.
Both got that right. And then Chicago at the Chargers. I think we both picked the Chargers.
Yep.
And got that right. So the king of picks here got all 10 right last week. I should have done a freaking parlay on DraftKings.
That won't happen.
So much
again.
money.
That won't happen again. I went 8-2.
Oh, okay. 8-2. Which ones did you get wrong again? I don't think I heard you.
He picked Houston over Carolina. I picked Carolina to upset Houston.
Yep, I remember.
And then he picked Indy over New Orleans. I picked New Orleans over Indy.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I have a 3-game lead on you right now. I'm 54-26, and you're 51-29.
54-26. This week, I'm writing down the ones you pick so I can make sure you're not being sneaky.
Okay.
We know Ray. Ray likes to be sneaky.
I'm going to put an R and a B next to all the picks between what y'all pick. All right, this week, we're going to have Brandon picking with us, but I'll go through the games real quick. So the 10 games we're doing are Tennessee at Pittsburgh, Miami at Kansas City, Seattle at Baltimore, Tampa Bay at Houston, Minnesota at Atlanta, Washington at New England, Indy at Carolina, Dallas at Philly, Buffalo at Cincinnati, and Los Angeles Chargers at the New York Jets. So we'll start with Tennessee at Pittsburgh, and I guess we'll let you go first, Ray.
Yeah, I'll go first. I'm going with Tennessee.
All right. So for Tennessee at Pittsburgh, especially with Kenny Pickett being questionable, not that he's a big factor lately anyways, I like Tennessee, and I think Will Levis looked amazing the other night. And I think him and DeAndre Hopkins had a great connection. I'm going with Tennessee.
Yeah, I don't think Pittsburgh's going to have the defense to stop measly Will Levis.
Yeah,
measly.
With him and D-Hop, that connection they had last week, I think that's going to be a big factor. And then, of course, you got Derrick Henry, who hasn't been the Derrick Henry of old, but he still is Derrick Henry.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think Tennessee wins. They're not going to have Minkah Fitzpatrick, so that's not going to help.
Yeah.
The deciding factor is going to be the line. Can that O-line stop?
Right.
Pittsburgh's O-line, like we did,
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Next up is Miami at Kansas City, right?
I'm going with the Dolphins here. I think Kansas City is not the Kansas City of the past, and Miami just runs right through them.
So this one was a tough one, obviously. Most of these games are tough. They're all pretty evenly matched. I'm actually going with Miami, too. The reason why I was looking at it, they both have good defenses. They both have, pretty great offenses. But I just feel like Miami's offense has been performing a lot better lately than Kansas City's offense. And the only thing I'm worried about is after that loss against Denver, I feel like this is a trap game where Kansas City is going to be fired up and coming back for vengeance, but I still got to go with Miami.
So Miami's already in Germany, which I think is good.
Yeah.
That's smart to get there this early. I don't know if Kansas City's there. But Kansas City does not have a number one receiver. Yes, they got Travis Kelce. We all know that. But that's all they have.
Yeah.
The main difference, I think, this week is the fact that Miami's going to have Jalen Ramsey back for second week in a row.
Yep.
He already balled out last week against New England.
He had an interception his first game back.
Did you see that clip with, speaking of that, Mike? Is it Mike McDaniels? Yeah. Wait, how do you say his name?
Mike McDaniel.
Okay,
yeah. Right.
Okay. So they were interviewing him about Jalen Ramsey's pick, and he said, "Yeah, Ramsey told me that on his first game back he would get me a pick six," and he's like, a pick field goal doesn't count.
No. So I see that defense playing one of their best games this week. I really do.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right. Next up is Seattle at Baltimore.
As much as I don't want Baltimore to win, I think they're the better team here, and I've got to go with Baltimore. They're probably top 3 in the AFC, right behind us.
Okay. Yeah, I'm the same way. Like, there's a lot of AFC teams I want to see lose to this weekend that I'm actually picking, and Baltimore is one of them.
Yeah.
I think that they definitely not shut Seattle down, but Seattle is not going to perform that great, I don't think.
Right.
And
Brandon?
you'll see that when we go over my fantasy stuff too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I've Baltimore 100%. Like,
it's that easy.
I mean, Seattle's good. Don't get me wrong, but they're not great. Yeah, they're 5-2. Yeah, they're leading that division, but it's still Baltimore.
Yep.
I don't see it happening.
I think this is a bounce back week from the sorry performance that Lamar had last week.
Yeah.
Next up is Tampa Bay at Houston. Two pretty bad teams.
I literally circled this as we started this episode, but I'm going with Tampa. Two average teams. I think Tampa has the upper edge here, so I'm going with Tampa.
So I'm going with Houston. The reason why is Tampa has no run game, and I just feel like Houston can have a better run game, and they both have about the same as far as passing goes. Baker Mayfield is up and down and consistent.
Yeah.
I mean, C.J. Stroud has probably been more consistent than Baker Mayfield this season. And so, yeah, I'm just going to go with Houston.
Cool.
I got Tampa Bay. I think Baker's going to have a good game against a defense that is not great. And even though it's at home in Houston, I get that. But I still don't think they're going to be able to do enough defensively to stop Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. And
right.
Really, it's on Baker. If Baker can get the ball moving downfield, which I think he will.
Well, I hope you're right, because I have Mike Evans and Chris Godwin in a couple of leagues. So
there you go.
Next up is Minnesota at Atlanta.
Well, with Minnesota losing their quarterback for the season and their backup being a rookie, correct?
Yep.
Well, not necessarily.
I don't think Josh Dobbs is going to be able
that
to
is true. That's true.
They just picked up Josh Dobbs.
I mean, I trust the guy, but I don't. First game in Minnesota, I'm going with Atlanta.
Yeah.
I think, and Taylor Heineke is starting for Atlanta this week, by the way.
Oh, is he?
Ritter's not starting.
Why? Has Ritter been doing that bad?
Yeah, he sucks.
Yeah, they benched him last week.
Yeah.
Damn. A lot of teams benching their starting quarterbacks this week. So, yeah, I'm going with Atlanta, too. I mean, the main reason is honestly Kirk Cousins. Like, I feel like Minnesota will not perform near as well without Kirk Cousins and without. I mean, you've lost two of your. You're now without Justin Jefferson and Kirk Cousins. I feel like that team is going to be pretty down. So
yeah.
Yeah, you can move a ball without Justin if you have a quarterback.
Yeah.
You're not moving a ball without Justin and no quarterback.
Right.
You're not on that team. I mean, yeah, T.J. Hawkinson is going to do his thing and whatnot, but I think Atlanta wins it. Definitely with Heineke. Heineke's not
He's a
bad.
solid quarterback. He's a solid backup.
He's not bad.
Right.
Yep.
So Atlanta.
All right. So we all went with Atlanta. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Next up is Washington at New England. So Ray, what you think?
I'm not going to say much about this. It's two pretty bad teams, so I'm just going to go with Washington here.
Yeah, I mean, same. I feel the same. They both are pretty bad. I'm going to go with Washington just because their offense has at least had brighter spots than New England's offense.
Yeah. Brandon?
I'm going with New England because Washington just traded their top 2 defensive players.
Why? Why would they do both of them?
And
That
they
doesn't make
gave
any sense.
They gave Chase away for a freaking third-round pick.
I know.
Yeah.
That
And
is
then Montez, a
ridiculous.
4th. Yeah, I think New England wins this game.
Yeah, I will tell you with that whole Chase thing.
Is he muted? He's muted.
Brandon, your audio just cut out.
Your audio is cut out.
Say something now.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
I just get muted.
Yeah.
I guess.
That's weird.
What were you saying?
I was saying, for sure, New England. I think New England wins this. Washington literally has no defensive line.
Right.
And Ramondre Stevenson, I mean, yeah, I get it. It's Mac Jones, but
Okay.
I think they'll do enough to win.
Right.
Won't be a blowout. Won't be anything like that, but it'll be a win.
I will say, out of all these picks, after thinking about it, if I could change one, this would be it because I do agree with you. Thinking about it now.
Trust me, I know you do.
Next up is Indy at Carolina.
I'm going with the Colts. I think Minshew he gets it done this week.
Yeah, so I picked Carolina last week because I was like, they're bound to win a game eventually, and who better than Houston? But Indy, just looking at their offenses, Indy has been putting up so much points lately, and Carolina, I don't think has been putting up enough points. They're not gonna. Neither one of these defenses is going to be a shutdown defense, and I think it's just going to be that Carolina can't keep up putting with Indy as far as putting up as much points.
Right.
So I'm going with Indianapolis.
I think Indy wins. I just hope that Adam Thielen gets me like 35 fantasy points.
Yeah.
He's been an absolute stud.
Yeah.
But I think Gardner will have a decent game. I don't think he's going to ball out.
Right.
But I think that their defense is better than Carolina's offense.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you look at Indy's defense, they really do have a good defense.
They do.
Like the players. Like I don't know what's going on with that team, but I'm glad they're 3-5.
Yep.
Yeah, we have a 2-game lead.
Yep. Best team in the AFC.
That's right. Hey, it's on NFL.com. It's not an overreaction. It's the truth.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Jags are the number 1 best team in the AFC.
Nice. Next up is Dallas at Philly.
Whew. This one was tough. And this was one that I
This
forgot.
is the game of the week right here.
Yeah. I'm going with Philly. I think they're the better team. And at home, I'm going with Philly with the push.
So I really, really second guess myself here. I am going with Philly, but I can't tell you how many times I wanted to change that and go with Dallas for the upset.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just Philly at home, the way both teams have been performing, I think it's going to be a freaking really close battle. And I think Philly's just going to pull it out. I think Dak will find some way to mess it up. He's been on a hot streak, and I think he's going to find a way to mess it up.
He always does.
So, Chris, you mentioned every week you have that one game that like you pick, like, oh, this is my game. Like last week you picked Carolina.
Yeah.
This is my game.
This is the upset that's going to happen that Vegas is going to get.
Yeah, Dallas is going to beat Philly at Philadelphia.
Okay.
Okay, quick question for both of you. Who would you rather face in the Super Bowl over Dallas and Philly? The Jags. Who would you rather face?
Over them, not them two. So who else would we
No,
rather?
no,
No,
no.
no, he's saying
One or
between
the
those
other.
two.
Who would you rather face?
Oh,
Dallas or Philly?
I'd rather face Dallas because I think Dak is going to find a way to throw us interceptions. I think
True.
Dallas is more mistake prone than Philly is.
True.
Dallas will beat themselves. I trust going against Dak a lot more than I trust going against Jalen Hurts.
I feel like we could score on Philly's defense more than we could score on Dallas's defense.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I don't know. That's a tough one.
Yeah.
To be honest, out of all the teams in the NFL, like even Kansas City, San Fran, I would rather face Dallas and Philly are the two teams I'm scared of the most to face. Like
Dallas, you just don't know. You don't know what's going to happen week to week.
Right.
I would rather face San Fran, Cincinnati, Buffalo. I'd rather face any of them than Dallas.
Yeah, I wish we could face Cincinnati in the Super Bowl. Yeah, let's have an all AFC Super Bowl, Chris.
I wish it'd be.
Is that what he's talking about?
No, I'm just talking about in general. I didn't say Super Bowl. I'm saying opponents in the NFL. There's nobody. I would rather face anybody over Dallas or Philly.
Okay.
I hope it's Detroit and Jags in the Super Bowl.
That'd be a fun game to watch, to be honest.
Well, Philly just hasn't had. They haven't played. Who they? Yeah. I mean, who's the 7 teams?
Yeah,
but they're about to hit a stretch.
Miami was the best opponent.
I get but the stretch is starting. I mean, they got Dallas. They still got Kansas City. They got to play. I mean, it's
yeah. So I said that was the game of the week, but honestly, this next one could give them a run for their money. I think this might be a game of the week as well. Yes. Buffalo at Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Bengals, unfortunately, have turned it around, and Burrow has hit his stride, Brandon. And I'm going with the Bengals here.
Why'd you say Brandon?
No, you'll see later on.
Give them a couple weeks. And we'll
give them a couple weeks and we'll see.
What are you talking about? Did y'all just do a trade or something?
No, we didn't do a trade. We just talked about it this morning. So just continue. Who do you have winning?
Okay. I'm going with Cincy. They've been hot lately. And I would just take Cincy's offense any day over Buffalo's offense. You take away Stephon Diggs and Buffalo doesn't. Their run game, they have good running backs, but they're nothing I'm scared of. I'm not scared of James Cook. I'm not scared of freaking Latavius Murray.
What about Leonard Fournette, baby?
Scared of Leonard Fournette?
I'm not scared of Leonard Fournette either. Look at him in Tampa. Was he really a scary running back?
I'm curious. He was like his rookie season with us, but after that, it went downhill.
Yeah,
2017 was a good year.
Yeah, he went from being I don't know, a bad running back. I don't know. I was about to say he went from being Mojo to somebody else, but I can't even think of a bad running back that we've had.
All right, Brandon, who do you have?
Cincinnati. Yeah, they're
all 3 Cincinnati.
That team's healthy. They're 100%, and you see what they can do when they're 100%.
Yep.
And Buffalo,
they're kind of fighting for their life right now.
Yes, I mean they don't know what to do from week to week. They lose to New England. They barely beat the Jets.
Yeah.
Or was it the Giants? They played the Giants recently.
Yeah, but they barely beat.
They barely beat the Jets.
Yeah, the Jets beat them.
Yes. Yeah. It's been. Yeah. I mean, come on now. It's Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
Joey B.
All right, the final one for this week is Los Angeles Chargers at the New York Jets.
I mean, I'm going with the Chargers. That simple.
Okay. So the only thing that worries me is the Jets defense, but yeah, Chargers are starting to bounce back a little and actually perform. They were looking horrible for a minute, but now they're starting to perform, and I like the Chargers over the Jets. I'm going with the Chargers.
All right.
This is going to be a very close game just because of the Jets defense. Oh my God, this child.
Yeah.
The Jets defense is going to give them a bunch of problems. And yeah, the Jets offense isn't great, but neither is the daggum Chargers defense.
Yeah.
Right.
But I think Chargers win in a close one. Jets have kept it close with everybody.
Okay.
Hey,
So
go ahead,
I was
Chris.
just gonna say to recap, the ones differently is I picked Houston when y'all two picked Tampa Bay, and then Brandon picked New England when we both picked Washington, and then Brandon picked Dallas when we both picked Philly. So those are the
Three different.
three differences right there.
Okay. And when the video is uploaded and I put it on YouTube, I will put your picks. Everybody that does this, I'll put in the description. So
Okay.
and y'all's records in the description to see who did better.
Brandon, make sure you keep the app open until Ray tells you that it's uploaded.
No, you have to tell me that it's uploaded because your end has to hit 100% before I can upload the whole video.
Oh, I've never told you before.
Huh?
I've never told you before.
Okay, I can go online and look on the computer and see. But yeah. Oh,
All right.
yeah.
All right. Well, I think that was a successful first guest appearance for the Pick'ems.
Yeah.
We have more guests.
Yeah, we'll do it the rest of the season.
Yep. So we'll probably have you on here more. It's not like we have that many choices. We don't have celebrities lining up to be guest appearances on here yet.
Right. We need to get Pat McAfee on here.
It was either between Brandon or Adam in a bikini.
I would have chosen Adam in a bikini any day of the week.
Wow.
God, I can only imagine that meat patty.
Wow. All right, Brandon. Well, that's it.
All right. Well, so do I hit this button?
Yeah, you can just hit the end button, but keep your app open until it shows that it's uploaded 100%.
All right.
All right.
If you see that it
Enjoy.
uploads 100%, go ahead and text Ray and let him know.
All right. Y'all have fun.
All right.
Go Jags.
All right. Yeah, go
Go
Jags.
Jags.
Later, man. All right.
So that actually went pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, let's move on to our fantasy portion, the Trust Bust Thrust. So we'll review from last week, starting with the quarterbacks. You can start.
All right, I'll start. Last week I had my trust at quarterback was Lamar Jackson. I had him doing 27, and the man does 11.9.
Yep.
Yeah, that's under a bust.
Yeah.
So, I mean, my bust was Russell Wilson, who I had doing 11 and does 17.5.
Yeah, nobody would have expected him to perform against Kansas City.
I'm glad he did, though. You know, we needed that. And my thrust was C.J. Stroud, who did 12.9.
Okay. So you missed all three?
I missed all three.
All right. My quarterbacks, my trust was also Lamar Jackson. I had him doing 34.2.
Wow.
My bust was Kenny Pickett going against the Jags. I said we were going to shut him down. I had him doing 12.6. He did 3.92. So Jags definitely shut him down.
Who? Oh,
Kenny Pickett.
Yeah. Well, he got hurt too. Yeah.
Yeah, but he wasn't doing anything before he got hurt.
Right.
My thrust was Zach Wilson. I had him doing 15.2, and he did 12.1. So I missed that one. So I missed 2 out of 3 on the quarterbacks.
Well, I missed all three, so you won that one.
Yeah, but we both missed it. Running backs, my trust, I had Travis Etienne Jr. I had him doing 21.1, and he did 25.9. Yeah. I'm telling you, I'm not saying this as a homer. Outside of Christian McCaffrey, who is hands down the baddest NFL player in the league, we have the best running back in the league. Second best behind McCaffrey.
Etienne, he's second in a lot of rushing stats.
Yeah, I'm telling you, like, all around, like, hands down, Christian McCaffrey is the baddest dude in the NFL.
Yeah.
But we have the second best running back in the league.
Yes, I can agree with you there.
My bust was Brian Robinson Jr. I had him doing 7.9, and he actually did 9.9, so barely over that threshold for me to miss that. I thought Philly would have shut him down.
Yeah.
My thrust was Darrell Henderson Jr. I had him doing 12.1. He did 11.5, but that's enough for the thrust. So I got 2 out of 3 on running backs.
Nice. All right. My running backs, my trust was Austin Eckler. You know, my boy's back. I got him in like 2 out of my 4 leagues, maybe 3. I don't know. Yeah. I had him doing 14, and he did 23.3.
Nice.
My bust was Josh Jacobs. I really thought Detroit would shut him down. he ended up doing 16.8. But I'm so glad he only did 16.8 because if he did 18.8, you would have beat me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my dad, well, you got lucky that fucking Darren Waller went out hurt.
Yeah.
So my dad, speaking of Josh Jacobs tearing up Detroit's defense, we were talking about that, and he said when you look at Detroit, he's like, you're not going to pass on them that well, but he's
No.
like, if you stick to your run game, he's like, they were gashing them in the run.
Yeah.
Like, so they're one of those teams that, yeah, you can pass some to alleviate the run, but you need to lean heavily on the run when you play Detroit, which is perfect for us.
It's perfect for ETN. I wouldn't say us until we have a solid backup.
Yeah.
At this point, Dearness Johnson deserves the number 2 spot over Tank.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right, so go on.
Okay. I'm at thrust. My thrust last week was Cam Akers. I thought he'd have a good game. I had him doing 11. He did 9.5.
Okay.
So I missed on all 3 of those.
Dang, 0.5 away.
Rough week.
All right. So moving on to receivers.
All right. My trust last week was Mike Evans. I had him doing 18. He only did 12.9.
Dang.
Yeah. My bust was Marquise Brown. I had him doing 8. The man does 15.3. My thrust. What is thrust? Okay, right over the line, right before he tore his ACL was Kendrick Bourne. I know this is your thrust too, but he did 12.6.
Yep. So my trust was Calvin Ridley. I said, this was going to be a game that he had a good game. I had him doing 15.8. He did 14.3, so barely enough to be a trust.
Yeah.
My bust was Terry McLaurin. I had him doing 10.8, and he did 17.3 against Philly. So I missed that. And then my thrust, like you said, was Kendrick Bourne, and I'm glad that he put up those points before getting injured because I have him on a fantasy team or two.
Nice.
So I got 2 out of 3 there, so I hit the receivers.
Nice.
Moving on to tight ends, my trust, I had Dallas Goedert. I had him doing 12.9, and he did 7.6. So missed that one.
Mm-hmm.
My bust was David Njoku. I had him doing 5.6, and against Seattle, he did 17.7.
Wow.
Yep. And then my thrust was Dalton Kincaid for Buffalo. I had him doing 8.9, and he did 17.5.
Yep.
So I only got 1 out of 3 there, so I missed tight ends.
Okay, so my tight ends last week, my trust was Mark Andrews. I had him doing 19 against Arizona. He did 14. My bust, who I don't think is playing right now, he might be hurt. I don't know, but I didn't do my research. Was Zach Ertz?
Huh? I don't know.
Yeah, he had. I had him doing 6 points and he did have 0. So, yeah, and my thrust was your thrust, Dalton Kincaid. I had him doing 12. He did 17.5.
Nice. So yeah, I hit the running back and the receiver category. I missed on quarterbacks and tight ends.
I hit tight ends, and that was the only one that I hit. It's a
Dang.
bad week.
Yeah, we've had a couple bad weeks. People are going to stop listening to us when it comes to fantasy.
Right? Yeah, when it comes to the fantasy part, you can stop listening if you don't want to. Listen to the rest. It's fun.
Beast of the week. So we both picked Lamar Jackson. So we had to revert to our second choice, luckily, because Lamar Jackson he sucked. Who was your second choice?
Mike Evans.
And what did he do?
12.9.
Well, my second choice was Amon-Ra St. Brown, and
yeah, he did
he did 16.8. So I won, but the real beast of the week was CeeDee Lamb. He put up 41 points.
Right. I have him in your league too. Mm-hmm. Yep, that was a key to my victory against you this past week.
Yep. All right. So moving on to this week's Trust Bust Thrust, you can start with the quarterbacks.
All right. Okay, so my quarterback, my trust is Joe Burrow. Like we talked about earlier, he's hit his stride, and Chase is, always open now. But Last week he did 27.6. This week I'm going to give him 24.
Okay.
And it's against Buffalo, so it could be a high-scoring game. My bust is Geno Smith. Last week he did 13.8 against Cleveland. I'm going to give him 12 against Baltimore. And my thrust, it's only his second game starting, but I'm going to give it to Will Levis.
I
He
knew
did
that was coming.
He did 26.6 last week, and this week I'm going to give him 17.
Wow. So
against Pittsburgh.
We're really close on the two that we have the same.
Really?
All right. So my trust, I have Lamar Jackson. He was my trust last week, and he stunk it up. I think this is a bounce back week going against Seattle. He's projected 20.3. I have him doing 21. My bust is Geno Smith. I have him doing against Baltimore 12.7.
Okay, so a little more than what I have.
And you had 12, so pretty close. My thrust as well is Will Levis against Pittsburgh. And I think you said, what, 17?
17.
17 even?
Yeah.
I have him doing 17.8.
Okay. So that's two very close that we'll have to see.
Yep. And then, all right, so moving on to running backs. My trust, dude's been balling lately, Alvin Kamara. He's projected 18.2. Last week he did 27. This week against Chicago, I have him doing 22.4.
I can see that. Chicago's pretty bad.
My bust is Zach Moss. He's projected 12.7, so they project him above the bust line, well above it. Last week he did 14.4. Going against Carolina, which you would think Carolina's not a great team, I would have him not as a bust.
Yeah.
But I have him as 8.7, and here's the reason why. If you look at any of his games that he's above the bust mark, which is 9 points for us, it's because he's gotten a touchdown.
Yeah.
So he is touchdown reliant, and it's almost like every other game he has a touchdown or two and then none. And this is on that opposite week where he had a touchdown last week. I just feel like he's not going to get a touchdown, and I
pay attention to that too, don't you?
Yeah, and I have him doing 8.7.
When I'm doing prize picks, I'll look at that, like the pattern they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then my thrust is Royce Freeman. He won't be there for long. Pretty soon you're going to have the I just forgot the guy's name. Is it Kyron Williams?
What? Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, Kyron Williams is coming.
Williams.
Yeah, he'll be back. And there's another running back, too, that's been injured that could step in front of Royce Freeman too soon. But for this week against Green Bay, last week he did 10.4. I have him doing 10.1.
Okay.
Yep.
That's your thrust?
Yep.
Cool. All right, my trust this week at running back is Derrick Henry. Last week he did 16.2. This week I'm going to give him against Pittsburgh 21. I think he's going to do the same thing that ETN did, score a touchdown but not passing. Well, maybe passing, who knows.
That's one running back that hasn't been in our trust a lot this season.
Right. Unfortunately, I think Tennessee has also turned the corner with getting Will Levis going, and I think they're not going to be good, but they'll win games.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see if it was a flash in the pan, like beginner's luck performance, or I feel like it wasn't a flash in the pan. I feel like he is going to continue to perform, but we'll see.
Yeah. My bust this week is Aaron Jones. Last week he did 8.6. This week I'm going to give him 9. I forget who Green Bay's playing.
Green Bay is playing the Rams.
Okay, yeah. I'm going to give him 9. My thrust is we just talked about Tampa and their running game earlier, is Rachaad White.
Okay.
He did 17.9 last week. This week I'm going to give him 14 against Houston.
Okay. All right. Go on with the receivers.
Okay. My trust at wide receiver this week is DeAndre Hopkins. I really think Will Levis has found his target, and Hopkins is going to just start lighting up the scoreboard in fantasy. Last week he did 34.8. This week I'm going to give him 23.
Okay.
My bust, who's been my bust before and I've missed, is DJ Moore. With the backup quarterback, I guess I had he 9.5 last week. I'm gonna give him 10 this week.
Okay.
Yep. And my thrust is Michael Pittman. Last week he did 18 against who did Indy play last week? I forget.
Orleans.
New Orleans. This week they're playing Carolina. I'm gonna give Pittman 17 fantasy points.
Okay. My trust is Jalen Waddle. He's projected 16.2. Last week he did 25.1. Going against Kansas City, I think it's going to be a high scoring game, an air it out type game, and I'm giving him 17.8.
Jalen Waddle. Nice.
Yep. My bust is Amari Cooper. He's projected 11.9. Last week he did 14.9, and he's going against Arizona. I'm giving him 10.9.
Okay.
And my thrust is Deontay Johnson. He's projected 13 point now. Now I wrote down some notes. I'll explain why he's a thrust to me.
He's a crybaby.
And not a trust, okay?
Yeah.
He's projected 13.9. Last week he did 16.5. Going against Tennessee, I have him doing 14. Now the reason I put him down as a thrust when he's probably more along the lines of a trust is because he was out for weeks with an injury. All right, so he hasn't been a trust because he hasn't been there playing.
Right.
He just came back off the injury. He showed that he's back to his normal, so that's why I'm putting him as a thrust. Like, hey, put him back into action.
Yeah.
And Tennessee has a weak secondary.
Okay.
Especially after trading away their safety.
Fired.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, all right, moving on to tight ends. My trust, who was my thrust last week, is Dalton Kincaid. He's projected 11.4. Last week he did 17.5. He's going against Cincinnati, just like Kansas City and who did I just say? Miami. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game, an air-it-out type game. I have him doing 16.2.
Okay, I like that. I think Kincaid's going to be a really good tight end in the league.
Yep. My bust is Cole Kmet. He's projected 9.1. Last week he actually did 17.9. He's going against a tougher defense, New Orleans. Not saying they're the best defense, but I have him doing a 5.4.
Okay.
The thing that scares me about that one is that with that quarterback Bajan or whatever, last week he showed that Kmet is like his safety net.
Yeah, safety net. Yeah. Yep.
But I just see New Orleans shutting that down. My thrust is Taysom Hill. All right. He's
is
projected.
He a tight end?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's projected 6.7. Last week he did 22.46. I think he did around 20 the week before. He's going against Chicago. I have him doing nothing crazy like that, but I have him doing 13.1.
I can see that happening. They rely on him a lot.
Yeah. So.
All right. My trust this week at tight end is shocking. TJ Hawkinson. I feel like he's the new guy's like safety net, like we just talked about. He's going to be the safety net. I honestly, they have Addison. I was going to say Hawkinson might be a number one receiver now, but they still have Addison. But I still think Hawkinson will do well. I have him doing 14 points.
Okay.
My bust is, it took me a little bit to look at the schedule and just look at the teams, but my bust is Hayward from Pittsburgh. He's a backup to Freiermuth.
Mm-hmm.
And Freiermuth is hurt. So last week against Jacksonville, he did 7.2. This week against Tennessee, I'm going to give him 6.
Okay.
And my thrust is Logan Thomas from Washington.
I almost put him.
You almost put him? Yeah.
Yep.
But they're playing New England. So last week he did 16.4 against Philly. This week I'm going to give him 12.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Moving on to our Beast of the Week. So, who's your number one?
You know, they're facing each other, and they're both the same position. My number one is Joe Burrow.
Okay.
Do we say the points too?
Yeah. What do you have him doing?
31. I had him in the fantasy quarterbacks doing 24, but Beast of the Week I have him going 31.
So I don't have Joe Burrow, so you're good with your number one. But just out of curiosity, who's your number two?
Josh Allen.
And what did you have him doing?
29.
Okay, so both quarterbacks.
Yeah.
All right, so my number one and number two, which obviously I'll be going with my number one, are both facing Kansas City. And like I
You're
said, I
gonna go
think
with
it's good.
Waddle and Hill.
No. Like I said, Waddle is in my trust receivers, but he's not my
Right.
beast of the week.
Right.
Like I said, if I'm going to put, say, a player in the beast of the week, I try not to include them in my trust bust thrust because I like to do other players.
Okay. I'll
Um,
work on that next week then.
yeah, I like to give people a range of players to
Okay.
choose from.
Okay.
Um, so both of mine are Miami players going against Kansas City. I think it's going to be a high scoring game, and I think Miami's going to go off. My number one is Tyreek Hill. I have him doing 30.4.
I wanted to put Hill. I wanted to, but I was like, I know he's gonna do it, so I'm gonna put somebody different.
Well, don't do it based off me. Do
Yeah.
what you want.
Yeah.
That's why we got two choices. Now, my number two is Tua.
Ooh.
Yeah, and I have him doing last week. He did 21.76. I have him doing 28.7.
Okay. I got Tua in a league, so I could use that.
Yep.
All
But
right.
yeah,
I know we didn't really preview the Jags game, obviously, because they're on a bye week. Did you do any research on the guy we traded for?
no, but I mean, I saw the post y'all sent me, and like the numbers, I think look good. I mean,
Yeah.
I
This
think it's a good deal. I mean, yeah, I would have loved to get one of those trades like Chase Young or something, but
right.
an a good offensive lineman is what we need right now. Like,
Right. I'd rather protect Trevor, you
yeah,
know. But we couldn't trade for a defensive end with the high draft picks we have because, like I told you yesterday, they're all tied up with Ridley.
yeah, which I'm perfectly fine with. I mean,
Yeah.
we're excited to get Ridley, and even though it's been up and down, you gotta look at it this way, like people may look at it and be like, oh, like Ridley's not everything we thought he was. Like he's not performing every week. It's like, no, he's actually performing perfectly because on the weeks where he's not balling out, guess what he's doing? Taking the defense's attention
Distraction.
away from the other receivers. When Ridley
Yep.
doesn't ball, Kirk and freaking Agnew or Zay Jones or Ingram,
Ingram.
they go off.
Yep. Yep.
So he is performing really well when the ball gets to him.
Yep.
And when he's not getting the ball, he's doing his job perfectly of taking the attention off the other receivers.
And you know what I'm happy about the wide receivers that we have? None of them are crying for the ball.
Right. They're not like freaking like I'm not
They,
I like Devontae Adams. I'm not saying he's a crybaby,
yeah.
but they're not like him on the sideline slamming their helmet and saying
Oh
like,
yeah, I saw that last night
yeah, like
or the
F
night
this.
before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or yeah.
Yep.
So I think even like Stephon Diggs is another example that is more like all about him or get him
Too
the
much
ball.
drama. Yeah.
Same thing with
Uh,
Jamar Chase has had moments like that, and I don't think any of our receivers are like that.
no. Nope. They're all team oriented.
Yeah, our whole team is about
The team.
how the team does, and
Yep.
you know,
Yeah. One thing I will say, I don't know if people saw it, the tweet I sent you, the group, how Ezra Cleveland in I think it was 270 plus snaps, he's allowed 10 pressures and only one sack,
dang, yeah,
and
yeah,
he's top 15 at his position.
that's
So
crazy.
I,
Yeah,
I'm I'm happy to have him.
and which side is he on?
Left guard, I believe.
Okay, yeah, because he's taken Ben Barch's spot. I just
Yeah,
can't remember if Barch is left or right guard.
bro, we have so many offensive linemen come through here. I don't know where they play. I know
We
Cam is on
we
the left side.
really, I mean, besides Robinson and I mean. Uh, the center before, who was our center before? Um,
He just
that we
retired.
that we had for a while.
I don't remember.
I can't believe I don't remember his name. He
Yeah.
was like our best lineman.
Yep.
Um, wow, I can't. And freaking weren't Joel and them know somebody that was like friends with him or whatever.
Dang.
But anyways, besides like Cam Robinson and the center before Shatley, we haven't had like a big we
Our
haven't had
center is not
offensive.
Shatley, bro.
Did I say?
Shatley. I don't know what position he plays, but he's not our center. Luke Fortner is our center.
What am I saying? Why?
It's all good. There's so
Man.
many names that come in and out of Jacksonville on the offensive line. We'll let that one slide.
Yeah. But anyways, what I was saying is we don't have a lot of offensive linemen that stay here for years and like are make names for themselves like that like you know what I
Right.
mean? Like it seems like we're constantly rotating linemen.
Unfortunately, I believe that Cam is gone after this year. I think he'll leave.
Yeah. But I
Just for the
mean, do we really need him? I mean, has he
he's
really
good.
performed lately
I mean,
to
he
his
missed the
best?
first 4 games, but he's good.
Yeah, I know he's good. I'm just saying like he can be replaced. Has he
Yeah.
really performed to the best of his ability?
Right.
Um, we'll find somebody.
We'll always find somebody. I mean, we just got somebody for a 6th-round pick, you
Yeah.
know? So, I mean, and this dude is worth way more than a 6th-round pick right now.
We'll have to bring back old Jawan Taylor.
John Taylor. No, he's Mr. False Start and holding penalty up there in Kansas City. They can have that guy.
Dude,
Yeah.
it's gonna bother me that I don't remember that center's name.
Yeah. He just retired, too, and he was with Urban. He was on the team with Urban.
Gosh, his name, like when you hear it, you're gonna be like, dude.
Yeah, I'll have to look it up when we're done and see and be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we missed this.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so next week we'll try to do it again on Tuesday. I know tonight's Wednesday, but next week we'll try to do it on Tuesday.
All right.
So, all right, that's it for week 9's episode. I'm Raymond.
And I'm Scar. This is the Brew Dude Sportscast.
Until next time.
Keep it brewing. All right.